सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। There are two principles based on which we do the entire analysis. The first one is the experiencer is different from the experienced. There's too much of volume. Yeah. The seer is different from the seen. Here we have to reduce or this side. I am getting your feedback. This side is fine. Here don't do it. Yeah. குறைச்சியா ஒண்ணுமே தெரியல. It's like she, giving ghee. The professionals always, when you go for this wedding, now it is too low. The senior most will bring ghee. The juniors will not be allowed, while serving. Only the senior person, because the way they take. I am getting echo. Either you hear. I can't listen to myself. The quantum they take, when you see they take so much, invariably you feel, my God, so much is going to put. And how much comes on your plate will be 1/4 of that. But they do it in such speed, nothing will come. But they show so much their experience. See, the entire analysis is based on these two fundamental principles. The first one is the experiencer is different from the experienced. This is the basic idea. Because the experiencer, the seer and the seen, knower and the known, you can go on adding. Whatever things keeps coming, you can keep adding. It's only a question of words. Please understand there are two different things. The one who experiences is always different from what is getting experienced. I am seeing the clock. That means I am the seer, the clock is seen. That means I am different from the clock. This is the basic idea. So the whole analysis, we start from that. Then we ask that question, am I the experiencer or the experienced? I'm seeing the clock. That means, am I the experiencer or the experienced? If I am the experienced, rules are different. If I am the experiencer, rules are different. So if I am the experiencer, which is different from the experienced, so then we go into the analysis. I am using the specs, right? Using the specs, I am seeing everything, right? Even though I am seeing everything, I am also seeing the specs, isn't it? The glass also I am seeing. Through the glass, I am seeing the world. Correct. If I remove the glass, what happens? I can see. I'll start seeing you like ghost. Not that. Now there is no power for me. I'm just using it for various other reasons. But there was a time once I had power, minus 8.5. You're right. If I remove the glass, I can't see anything. You don't see anything. Through the specs, I am seeing. If I remove that, my seeing gets affected, impacted. I cannot see the color, I cannot see the form, what is written, I cannot see. I can't understand what is there, in fact. So, I am experiencing, I am seeing the world through the specs. Through the spectacles, I am experiencing, which means the spectacles is the medium through which I am seeing the world. Okay. So the same logic is applied to the spectacles. Am I seeing the spectacles or not? Yes. Which means what? I am the experiencer, spectacle is the experienced, and by the law, experiencer is different from the experienced. And am I the experiencer or the experienced? All this inquiry we do. And finally, we understand what? One step more closer we go. Next stage of thinking is we say, okay, what about the I? First, we removed the clock. Now we have removed the specs because specs also object, even though it's a medium through which I'm seeing. Now, what about the I, sir? Again, same reasoning. They do. And say I is the medium through which seeing happens. Correct. So the real seer is not the I, which means it's the medium, which means I am different from the I. Now, I being part of the body, the entire body becomes the medium through which I am experiencing the world. Which means I am the experiencer, body is the medium, and I'm able to register the body. Therefore, body is the object of experience. Therefore, experiencer and experience cannot be the same, and I am the experiencer different from the body. Therefore, I am not the body. What about mind? Same logic. What about intellect? Same logic. What about Anything you bring in, we'll bring in the same logic. This is the first principle. Thinking is not complete, okay? There is one more angle we start. Say, see, if the experiencer and the experienced, and they are there, we ask the question, the experienced carries very many qualities, properties, attributes, isn't it? The properties of the experienced, all properties are experienced. I repeat, properties of the experienced and all properties itself experienced, isn't it? It is green color, this is blue color, this is the yellow color clock. Clock has the attribute of yellow color, and I am experiencing the attribute also yellow color. Not only the clock, the quality of that also getting experienced, right? So all experienced attributes belongs to the object. Since it all belongs to the object, it cannot be belonging to the experiencer, I, isn't it? All attributes are experienced. All this experienced means it should be put in the side of the objects. It should be put in the side of the other. Therefore, I cannot be having any one of those attributes. Body is healthy, unhealthy. Body is short, tall. Body can be fat, slim. Right? All this is belonging to the body. The properties, the qualities, the attributes that belonging to the body cannot be attributed to the experiencer. But what are we saying? I am tall. No. Body is tall. I am short. I am not short. The body is short. Since all these attributes are not, and we are experiencing the attributes, therefore it doesn't belong to I, and all these attributes goes on changing, isn't it? Qualities are changing. Once you had what? Do you apply dye? I said, no dye and all that. It says, natural black. Now what is it? The salt and pepper looks good for you. Right. Earlier it is all black. Now what is it? Salt and pepper. And then down the line, few years down the line, what's a few months also, I don't know. What is it? All white. Like your heart. This is also so pure and white. Nature shows as you grow, your heart should get purified and become white. No. You will apply dye and make it black. Black is not natural, please. White is natural. When you age, right? When you're 25, if you have white hair, na pitton, la? Something wrong. Changes, no. Everything is changing. The attributes, the qualities were all changing. But the experiencer who is experiencing all that, does the experiencer change? Attributes change. Qualities keep changing. Now you all sit like Buddha, right? Like the cheer that you have, that peace that you have, even Buddha, Mahavira Allah will feel jealous. 10 o'clock you should see. Right? Every Sunday morning, 7:30 to 8:45, you are all what? Very close to Krishna. After that, what? Changes, no? The mood changes, right? Your emotions changes. Your desires change. Your thinking changes. Everything is constantly changing. All these attributes we see goes on changing, and those attributes belong to the object, and therefore anything that is changed should belong to object only. Therefore, I am what? The subject which has to be of the nature of changeless. This is the base. All this you should have understood. This is what Krishna is expecting when you come to 13th chapter. Allah, you know. Now he says what? Just uses the word experiencer, experienced. He is using two words, Kshetrajna and Kshetra. Experiencer is one. The experienced is many. Seeing happens through the eyes. Seeing is different, smelling is different, tasting is different, walking is different, talking is different. All this is different things. All the different things were all happening at the level of the Kshetra. The Kshetrajna who is seeing all that, who is experiencing all this, is different. So he says, the field of all the fields, I am that Kshetrajna. Kshetrajnam chabimam vidhi. Sarva kshetreshu bharata. All the three acharyas write a huge commentary for this verse. About 2-3 verses, you find all the three acharyas giving elaborate commentary. Oh. Sometimes acharya will give another part. One verses, each one will give. But this is one verse where you find all the three of them. Shankara gives elaborate commentary for this verse. Same way Ramanuja gives elaborate commentary. Same way Madhva also gives elaborate commentary. And all of them were commenting based on that one word, api. Kshetrajnam cha api. Mam vidhi. Sarva kshetreshu. Cha and api also. And also is the key they take and start analyzing. Fascinating, metaphysical analysis is not required as of now for you, but I'm just saying to tell you that I have read all that. அவ்வளவுதான். No use actually for you. So you should not think, oh, he doesn't know anything else. Beautiful commentary. How they put forward their arguments and how they derive, material. Now you can't be speaking things independent of whatever is given there. See, that's why nowadays we find people speaking the text. We don't have many nowadays. They just take one topic and talk. That's very easy because when once I take a topic, it's my freedom to talk. And there are people who talk without any topic. No topic means much better. Whatever comes, say what is the problem. And if it is engaging and entertaining, more people will come. That's all. More viewership. YouTubeல நிறைய a lot of people watch. Because nowadays we pay and go and listen to stand-up comedy. And the television, which is the up next to sports news, exclusive channels are there, comedy channels. People watch comedy channels maximum, not even the movie channels, comedy channel. Why? So depressed. That's what it means. So much of depression is there in your life. You're willing to pay to people to tickle you to next one will be that. So no longer, a fellow talks, you are not getting that. Now what to do, sir? One by one you go. Sir, a fellow will tickle you. And then you laugh and come. Even the literary discussions, I see, has become more of, a platform for cracking jokes. Engaging. It's entertaining, of course. Is it educating, sir? That's not the purpose. The purpose itself is what? Entertainment, not education. The Shastra is not for engagement or entertainment, please. It is meant for education. Now, how can you teach, mathematics jovially with a lot of stories and jokes? You have to teach mathematics. How will you teach? You cannot teach maths like that. Not possible. History, geography, possible. That you can do. Social science, you can do all that. How can you do in mathematics? Tragedy here. You have to derive. Now, how they derive it is fascinating. And they derive from such, small words. And we think they're stretching too much. Because their point is not this, it is for you to exercise your thinking to extract material. See, that is how it's supposed to be studied. Now you can't just swallow words. Kshetrajnam chapima. Why he uses the word cha and api? Fascinating analysis. And how they counter. For that counter, there is a counter, and then there is a counter, there is a counter. And it goes on and on and on. And of course, beyond a point, it gets too intellectual, like what Vivekananda calls as intellectual gymnastics. That's of no use, he says. To whom is a point? To whom it is not the point? Who is not supposed to get involved there? But you have to get in. This is thinking. They analyze and reason and find out. And one thing all three agrees is these 2 points. These are the 2 points which all of them agree. All three great masters. All three of them agree on these 2 ideas. That's why I'm taking only those 2 ideas and giving. Where they're differing is not my issue. I don't care. Where they differ, that is for them to decide. We take where they agree. Where they agree, sir. Agreement is this. It cannot be the same. Therefore, how you derive out of it. Out of that, we derive one by one the points. So the experiencer different from experienced. The qualities belong to the object experienced, not the experiencer. If I am the experiencer, then none of those attributes can be attributed to me. Now you read Kshetrajnam Chapivam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. Bharata is name of Arjuna. In fact, Bharata can be called for any one of us. All of us can be called as Bharata. But then in this context, they take it Arjuna. And any seeker can be called as Bharata. Anyone who is living in this geographical place can be called as Bharata. So we say Arjuna, the Kshetrajna. I am that Kshetrajna. The Kshetra is the field, experienced. Kshetrajna is the experiencer. Now, whatever you arrive at, properties of the Kshetra cannot be ascribed to the Kshetrajna. The mistake that you are making is you are superimposing the properties belonging to the Kshetra on Kshetrajna. Therefore, you have started believing that you are tall, you are short. When your body is tall, body is short. Right? Body healthy, body unhealthy. Has got nothing to do with the Kshetrajna. That's the quality of the Kshetra. So this analysis we do from 2 levels. The first one is Jiva. Right. Second one is from the angle of Ishvara. Right. The nature of Jiva different, Ishvara different. And here we understand the relationship between the Jiva and the Jagat. But here in this context, what we do is we put the Jagat and Jiva one category. Right. Ishvara in the other category. So Jagat, that Jiva, we understand Jagat also included in that. Okay. So we don't have to keep on referring that every time. Because in Sambandha relationships, we do a different angles of relationships analysis were there. What is the relationship between the Jiva and Jagat? What is the relationship between Jagat and Ishvara? What is the relationship between Jiva and Ishvara? What is the relationship between Jiva and Jiva? That's also there. Isn't it? Jiva, Jagat. Jiva, Ishvara. Ishvara, Jagat. And Jiva, Jiva. When we are going to be discussing about Sambandha, relationship, we need to discuss all this. But in this context, we discuss only the relationship between Ishvara and Jiva. Ishvara, Jagat, if you have to do this reasoning, the reasoning is done like Ishvara is the creator, Jagat is the created. And Jiva and Jagat, we are clubbing together. Therefore, Jiva is also created. He is the creator. Ishvara is the creator. Jiva is the created. So he is the cause, is the effect. Then we analyzed the last class which aspect of Ishvara is the cause, because Ishvara has two aspects. Right? Brahman plus Maya. That is Ishvara. Is the Brahman dimension of this is what we saw in the Gita language, it is Para, Apara, Prakriti. Last class we saw that. So Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti is the Gita language. General Vedanta languages, we use Brahman and Maya. That is Ishvara, God. So if you take that, Maya becomes the direct cause for the world. Maya. Then what is the relationship between Maya and world? Okay. Now what is the relationship between Brahman and world? There is no relationship. For when you see from the Brahman position of Ishvara, there is no Jagat only. Remember, there is no Jagat. What is the relationship between the waker and the dreamer after waking up? There is no relationship. Why there is no relationship? Relationship implies difference. Two, it's the waker who is the dreamer. Is only the dreamer? No. Who is the dream son? Waker only, no? Isn't it? Dream son came from where? Waker's mind. Dream tree came from where? Waker's mind. The dream forest came from Waker's mind. The dreamer came from the Waker's mind. The dream lion that attacked the dreamer came from Waker's mind. One fiber of Waker's mind becomes the dreamer, another fiber becomes the forest, another fiber becomes the stars, another fiber becomes the moon, another fiber becomes the brook, another fiber becomes the lion. All this is what? Waker's mind. isn't it? There's no difference. It's all same. From which position? After waking up. Till you wake up, when you are in the dream, to the dreamer, if you go and say, you and the lion and the tree and the stars, same. He will look at you like how you are all looking at me. So what happened to you? How can we all say, sir, me and this is same? Me and this and that and this, same? Same. Why? There are two angles. Same way, we ask this question, the relationship between the Jiva and Ishvara is analyzed from two positions. One is relative position, another one is absolute. From the relative angle, Ishvara becomes, he takes the position for the Jiva, individual, and the individual is different, Ishvara different. So when we say Ishvara now, Ishvara means what, sir? Brahman plus Maya. You take out Maya, Ishvara loses the position as Ishvara, Ishvara becomes Brahman. So therefore in Vedanta what we do is Brahman, Ishvara. Absolute, Brahman. Relative, Ishvara. But are they different? They are not different. That's the same thing. But for the convenience of communication, we use these words. See, this is where the problem is. I have to communicate an idea through words, but the words have a limitation. Right? Through the words, you have to come to the idea. From the idea, words are born. From the teacher's perspective. From the student's perspective, what is it, sir? Through the words, he has to go to the idea. That is why we know those great masters. Commentary. If you take up the Gita and read, nothing you will understand. Why? The fundamental lacuna we have is, from the word we have to capture the idea. Whereas, these commentators, those great masters, have captured that idea attempted by the author to be communicated. They have captured that first. Right? When Shankara writes a commentary, he has already captured what Krishna is attempting to communicate. Therefore, he is also coming from the dimension of idea to words. We have not understood the idea. The only way we can reach to the idea is through the words. Right? That is why you always study these textbooks with commentary. You don't read it on your own. That's why we say Guru Mukhena you have to study. With the Guru you have to study. You can't do on your own. You can't pick up a book and start reading. The only problem is, the Rig Veda is in Sanskrit, sir. If it is in English, so what to do? Translations are there. You read the translation. What you will understand is available. You will not understand a word of what is stated there. Why? The words were so potent and so packed. Very difficult for us to decipher the idea through this. That's why those things were called the sutras, equations, cryptic statements like E is equal to mc square. E is equal to mc square. Square even if you don't understand also. Like my daughter, she says, doesn't know mathematics. Why? How can you equate numbers? You can equate. How can you equate letters? A, B, C, D. She is adding A plus B. 1 plus 2 you can add. Makes sense. How can you add A and B? If you add A and B, what you will get? C. D. What you will get? You'll get N. Say, what? How can you add A and B? Amazing question she had. I said, for this one, it's worth your taken birth. How can you add A, B? A, B, you can't add. 1, 2, 3 you can add. And the best part is she is so confidently saying she doesn't know mathematics. And this girl is doing MSc chemistry. And this one is doing, UKG. And the UKG is saying, Akka doesn't know mathematics. I said, what? How do you know? I know she doesn't know. She took up chemistry only because fearing maths. Okay. She's so scared of maths, so she took up chemistry. I know that. That I know independently. But then, how do you know? How can Buddha leave his wife and go? Exactly same as Purni asking. Akka doesn't know mathematics. How can you add A plus B? Fundamental algebra you should know for that. You are yet to learn numbers. Odd number, even number. That also you don't know clearly. So a fellow is coming and asking, how can you add A plus B? Same way you ask questions about how can Rama kill Vali? How can he banish Sita? Therefore, what are you? You are superior to Rama. You are better than Buddha. Derivations, be careful. When we say Brahman, it means Ishvara minus Maya. Ishvara is equal to Brahman plus Maya. That's what it is. So, same way we saw in Jiva, there are two aspects. In Jiva, there is Atma and Anatma, spirit, matter. Right? I'm deliberately using two different words. Okay. So here in Jiva, there are two aspects. What are the two aspects, sir? Atma, Anatma. Right. In Ishvara, there are two aspects. Brahman, Maya. Okay. Now what these masters they say is, look here, whatever you are calling as properties of the Anatma derived from Maya. All these properties, whatever you claim the attributes that belong to. This is why the second part of those two principles are important, I said. The whole thing belongs to these two principles. this particular verse. Otherwise, you will not understand how the equation happens. So we see here Atma, Anatma put together Jiva. Spirit, matter put together individual. You. Same way, Ishvara has the equation. What is it, sir? Brahman plus Maya. Now you see the properties or the qualities that belongs to Anatma derived from where? Maya. This and this matches. Right. Same way, the Atma and Brahma Tattva in Ishvara, Atma Tattva in Jiva, same. Now we ask the question to the Jiva, whenever you use the word I, that I, when you say, is this I referring to the Anatma, or is it referring to Atma, or is it referring to the combination? You're all with me? Whenever I say I can be of three possibilities. Probability 1, I to be taken as Anatma. The Jiva is the I. Jiva is the one who claims I am, right? Now, whenever he claims I am, that I am can be equated to Anatma dimension, matter. Then another way is no, I is not Anatma, it is Atma, that is what is referred by the meaning for the word I. Then there is a third possibility saying it is I is actually the combination. Atma, Anatma put together is called I. Are you the electricity? Are you the bulb? Are you the light? You're all with me. We ask the question, what are you first? Or the whole analysis will start from Ishvara. Either Jiva analysis we do or Ishvara analysis we do. Right? Now, when you do this Jiva analysis, three things we arrive at now. Matter, spirit, combination. Electricity, bulb, light. What are you? From one level, you will say what? I am light. Another level, you will say what? I am bulb. Another level is to say I am electricity. If you are electricity, if you are really bulb, tube light. Correct, sir. I think we are all tube lights only. What are you now? This is where we are confused. Actually, we have no confusion. Right? You say, sir, class is really confusing, sir. We have to listen second time. What are you now? You know, when you blabber, this is what Shankara says. I am not saying. Like how he says, how the parents enjoy the prattling of the child. It's not yet started talking, okay? Oh, ooh, hey, that's all he'll say. How many vyakyanas these people give, for that? It's amazing. Shankara says, I am talking like that. If he says like that, I don't know what we can say. Like prattle. Amazing. What these masters take, these are the three positions. If you take yourself to be the bulb, one. If you take yourself to be the light, another. If you take yourself to be the electricity, another. Shankara, Madhva, Ramanuja. All. One fellow says, don't ask me who is who. Allah homework. One person says, you are the bulb. Another person says, you are the electricity. Another person says, you are the. You decide. Right. If you are this, then what is your relationship with Ishvara? That will vary, no? Because depending upon you only, the relationship can be. Right. To my daughter, I am father. Right. Wife, husband. My sister, brother. Mother, son. Right. To you, could be anything. That's why I can't define it. Other places can define. It can be anything. To a student, teacher. Right. Now, will I be a teacher to my sister? No. No. Teacher sister relationship is not possible. It will be a problem. Brother student relationship, that is also not possible. I'm a brother, you are a student. No, it won't work. If you are a student, I have to be a teacher. This is where we have a lot of confusion in relationships. See, we think it changes depending upon the position the other person takes. Now, if you stand as what? If you take yourself to be this, then it is. That nature changes. From one level, it is different. Same thing from another level becomes one and the same. This is where we get confused. See, to explain there are two different things, you don't need a bunch of an explanation. The problem is, same relationship, same thing, suddenly changes. Now, the moment my daughter comes and sits in the class, who is she now? Now I cannot see her as my daughter and speak. Student. Same. But depending upon the situation, it is changing here. Now, in Vedanta, we say it is not depending upon the situation, it is depending upon the position, level. From one level, they are different, another level, same. Confusing, huh? I can clarify that in 3 words. The entire class you will understand if I just utter those 3 words. 3 words now. Everything will become clear. Suddenly. Wave, ocean, water. Wave, ocean, That's all. If you see that as a wave, ocean is the cause, isn't it? Karana. Cause of the wave is the ocean. Because in the bucket of water, there's no wave, no. Correct. If you see that wave as water, what is ocean? Also water. So therefore, from the position of the fundamental thing, it is same. From the appearance, different. A wave is different from the ocean. Correct. Wave and ocean are one and the same. Wave is part of the ocean. Correct. A wave is never separate from ocean. It's part of it. But wave and ocean are one and the same. When? When you see that as water, it is same. So long as you are seeing that as wave, you can't say it is one and the same. You see that? So from one level, it is different, that relationship. From one angle, is there a relationship between water and ocean? What is the connection? There's no connection. Because ocean is also nothing but form, size. Because of that size, you are calling it as ocean. Isn't it? That's called Maya. You see, because of that vast sheet of water, you are calling it as ocean. Because it's a vast sheet, there is wave. So Jagat Karanam is Ishvara. What is Ishvara now? Vast sheet of water. Is it really? No. Actually, there is no connection between water is independent. If you see that as water, then there is no ocean, there is no wave, there is no froth, there is no lake, there is no river. Everything is what? Water and water alone. No difference. From the position of water, everything is same. So long as you are not seeing that water, so long as you are experiencing it as wave, then ocean is born automatic. Isn't it? Vast it is. Go to the lakes, you will see. The other end you can't see. So huge. But still there is no wave. Isn't it? For the waves to be formed, the vastness has to be what? Huge. Even that lake, which is Ontario Lake. Anywhere you go in Toronto, you will see that Ontario Lake is there. You will be touching that lake. You go this side, you go. You see that? That's Ontario Lake. Oh. Then you go to another fellow's house. From there also, down the street, you go there. You see, oh, there's one more lake. No, Ontario Lake. Only one is there. Huge it is. A vast one. Still, what is there, sir? Waves will not come. Not enough. You need that much of size, which is the size is what is taken as Maya, Shakti. The vastness is the power. So huge. So they say, Shankara is writing this, two Laharis, Shivananda Lahari and Saundari Lahari. Shivananda Lahari is on Shiva. Saundari Lahari, he doesn't say anything. He just says Saundari Lahari. That's all the text. Shivananda Lahari specifies. No? What God? All of you understand no? Straight away. Shivananda Lahari, when I say, on which God? Shiva. What is the problem? Ganesha Pancharatna. On which God, sir? Ganesha. Easy. Suddenly this fellow says, Saundarya Lahari. Which God? We don't know which God. He does not specify. Saundarya, that's all it is. Very beautiful. Lahari is that outburst. That the spontaneous outburst of poetry is known as Lahari. That's the meaning of Lahari. It's that pravaha. How when the dam opens, you see the water flowing. They used to give announcements. I remember near our village now, they'll come and tell us, don't go to the river tomorrow to take bath because they are opening the dam there. So we used to go and stand there to see how the water will be coming. So, torrential speed, the speed in which they come. Is this behind their house? The river. Fascinating to see that, that's a sight to see. Anybody has seen? Oh, farmer path, you also have seen. They'll be waiting for that. Farming, no. Oh, what a beauty sight. That's called a pravaha. You open the dam, it flows, spontaneous flow. Not like you think and think and think and write. I don't know whether any time you have attempted to write poetry. I wrote on poetry a long time. School days. Think and think and think. First of all, we have to think a lot for the idea on what to write. Itself took about 1.5 months. And then you get the concept. And then you have to write. Wow. Saundarya Lahari is like a flow. Lahari means that. Saundarya, beautiful. So he is writing about beauty. Shelley also writes. No? Huh? Like Shelley, he writes. No. What? The first word in that Saundarya Lahari is Shiva Shaktya Ito Yati Bhavati. Is how it starts. First word is what? Shiva. So all of us think what? Oh, must be on Shiva. Because Kene Shitam Patati, immediately we say what? Kena Upanishad. Same way, Isavasya, therefore what? Isavasya Upanishad. Why? It started with that word. Now this also starts with Shiva. Therefore, no. It is on Shakti, Parvati. Right? How come he puts the word Shiva there? Saundarya Lahari has 36 commentaries. Bhashyam. Saundarya Lahari has. அவ்வளோ பாஷ்யம் இருக்கு. That Anandagiri is one of the direct disciple. He has also written a commentary on that. Anandagiri, his commentary, he gives a beautiful explanation. That Shiva, when he says, he is not talking about Shiva. He is talking about Shakti. How come? Says in that word, first letter is what? E. Cha plus E is C. Shiva. Right? That only when that E gets added to Cha, it becomes a complete word. Otherwise, that sound is incomplete. Right? Now, that E is exclusive for women. E sound. E is the sound of feminine. All feminine names, if you see here, in Sanskrit, will always conclude either with E or A. Akarant. All names. Minoli. Yashoda. La. All names you take, all feminine names you take, will always either end with E or A. Exclusive, that is. That is Sanskrit. That's a language. What makes, if you take E sound out, then what is the sound there? Sha plus Va. Shava. Not Shiva. Shava is what? Useless. A dead body. Who breathes life to the otherwise inert? That inert could be Brahman, could be matter. Matter is also inert. Brahman is also inert. There is no light in electricity. There is no light in the bulb. But something happens when they come together. An invisible force. That is Parvati. That is Maya. That is she. That is why he uses the word Shiva. One word. Then has, Shiva Shakti. Why now he calls as Shakti? There is an amazing, I tell you. And the best part of it is Lahari. It is just, spontaneous flow. Right. Scribble something and give. What amount of, now you say, Vishala Buddhi. Vyasa, saying the Gita Dhyanam. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhi. Na Buddhi. Why Saundarya Lahari? Suddenly went off to Ishvara. That the three positions that we take, as you take as ocean, there is a relationship. What is the relationship between ocean and wave? Cause, effect. Ocean is the cause, wave is the effect. You take as water, there is no cause and effect relationship, isn't it? Water, no cause and effect. In fact, there is no relationship. What is there then, sir? There is aikyam. Becomes one. You're all with me? So, what is the relationship between the two? And this is subtly indicated by Krishna of these two positions in the same verse by the usage of those two words. Mam, mama. Read the verse again. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. First line. क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञयोर ज्ञानम यत् तत् ज्ञानम मतं मम. Mama by me. Mom, me. Same verse he uses two. What is that? One is the relative one, opinion. Another one is the truth. One is from the relative angle. Relative angle means false, not real, apparent. The water appears as ocean, same water appears as this. So therefore, in equation, what do they say? They say, aham. What is that aham, sir? Aham, if you take atma in the jiva, then that atma in the jiva is the same as Brahman in Ishvara. Don't say jiva is equal to Ishvara. It will be like saying wave is equal to ocean. How can you say wave is equal to ocean? Between the waves and the ocean, who is permanent, who is impermanent? Wave is impermanent. Ocean is permanent. But the moment the wave says that I am water, what happens? It becomes permanent. Isn't it? So the equation here is the Atma is the same as Brahman in Ishvara. The Atman in Jiva is the same as Brahman in Ishvara. Tat Tvam Asi. Oh. Says. Kshetrajnam chapimam viddhis sarva kshetreshu bharata. Mahavakya. This is Mahavakya not because it's a lengthy statement. Mahavakya is not that, please. Because Mahat Prayojanavat. Because of the effect that it produces, the impact that it creates. So what we do here is we dismiss the anatma aspect in the jiva. As you are deleting the anatma aspects in the jiva, parallelly we delete the maya in Ishvara. This is cancelled, that is cancelled. When you cancel this, cancel that, what do you have? Atman, Brahman. This Atman is that Brahman. This is that. Tat Tvamasi. This is that. You are that. So, what are you? You are not the combination. You are not the Anatma. You are the Atma. That Atma is me, he says. What is that me here? That is why we have to do all this equation. Otherwise, it's not necessary. Anatma Tattva, Atma Tattva, there are two Tattvas. This is dismissed means that's over. But suddenly he says, I am the Kshetrajna. Know me, Mam Vidhi. Understand that I am the Kshetrajna. What is that me? The teacher is telling the student. Ishvara is speaking to the Jiva. That's how we have to take it. Any sort of discussion. Remember, Brahman will not have a conversation with Jiva. Brahman Jiva conversation never possible. Water wave conversation never possible. Ocean wave conversation is possible. Because the moment you say wave, ocean is born already. And water camouflaged. Water disappears, ocean appears. So conversation is happening between who? Ishvara and Jiva. Ishvara represented by Krishna, Jiva is represented by Arjuna. So entire Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between who? Ishvara and Jiva. Guru and Sishya. Krishna and Arjuna. Appearance. But essentially, what is it, sir? Essentially, it is Ishvara speaking to Jiva. There, Ishvara makes that statement. That is why we are analyzing all this. I think we are wondering why we are getting into all this analysis. This is done because of that. Because Ishvara says, I am the Kshetrajna. When he says, I am the Kshetrajna, how can that statement be explained? How can that statement be justified? Is the argument. For that, we do all this analysis. Next verse we'll see next class.